I never imagined that a routine trip to renew my wife's green card would spiral into the most humiliating experience of our lives. One moment, we were quietly standing in line at the immigration office. The next, a furious woman was screaming that my wife had stolen her passport and demanding that an officer search her purse right there in front of everyone. My heart nearly stopped when the officer actually agreed to it. My wife, Anna, and I had been married for 6 years. She's from Colombia and came to the U.S. legally on a student visa. We fell in love, got married, and began the long, exhausting, and expensive journey toward permanent residency. That morning in early spring, we were finally inside the downtown USS office for her biometrics appointment. Fingerprints, photo, standard procedure. We had waited months for that appointment. We woke up at 5 a.m. to arrive early, dressed neatly, and brought every document in triplicate like we always did. We were standing quietly in line when I noticed a woman ahead of us. She looked to be in her mid-50s, with a stiff blonde bob, designer sunglasses pushed up on her head, and a massive leather purse clutched to her chest like it contained state secrets. She kept turning around and glaring at Anna. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe she was just irritated or having a rough day. Then she started muttering, loud enough for us to hear. "I know one of you took it. I had it right here." She began patting her purse frantically, digging through it, pulling out lipstick, her wallet, keys, everything except whatever she was searching for. Anna squeezed my hand. She's quiet by nature and hates confrontation, and I could feel the anxiety building in her. I leaned in and whispered, "Just ignore her, babe. She's crazy." That's when the woman spun around and pointed directly at Anna. I saw you bump into me outside. You took my passport." Her shrill voice cut through the entire waiting room. Heads turned. Security guards glanced over. My stomach dropped. Anna's eyes went wide. "No, ma'am," she said softly. "I didn't touch your bag. I swear." But the woman, Karen, because that's exactly what she was, wasn't interested in reason. She stormed up to the nearest immigration officer at the check-in desk and started shouting, "This woman stole my U.S. passport. I'm an American citizen, and she's trying to steal my identity. You need to search her bag right now." My face burned. The officer, a tired-looking man in his 40s, looked from Karen to us. I stepped forward. "Sir, my wife didn't take anything. We've been standing here the entire time." Karen immediately cut me off. "They're lying. She's probably illegal anyway. Just look at her. You have to check." The room went completely silent. Anna's face flushed red as tears filled her eyes. She whispered to me in Spanish, "I can't believe this is happening." I wanted to scream, but I knew reacting would only make things worse. The officer sighed, rubbed his temple, and then said the words that made my blood run cold. "Ma'am, step over here, please. I'm going to need to look inside your purse." Karen smirked like she just won a prize. Anna looked at me, terrified, then slowly walked aside, counted the officer pointed to. Every eye in the room was on her. Dozens of people from every background watching my innocent wife about to have her bag searched because an entitled stranger decided to weaponize her racism inside a federal building. The officer asked Anna to open her purse. Her hands trembled as she unzipped it. I stood directly behind her, heart pounding so loudly I could hear it in my ears. Karen hovered nearby, arms crossed, practically vibrating with smug satisfaction. The officer began removing items one by one. My wallet, our immigration folder, her makeup pouch, a pack of tissues. Nothing. No passport. Karen wasn't satisfied. Checked the side pockets. The bottom. She probably hid it. The officer searched more thoroughly now, almost as if he wanted to prove her wrong. Still nothing. Anna was crying silently, shoulders shaking. I wanted to wrap my arms around her, but didn't dare move. Then the officer reached into the very bottom compartment and stopped. His eyebrows lifted. My breath caught. Slowly, he pulled out a small blue booklet. A U.S. passport. Karen gasped dramatically. "I told you." But then the officer opened it, and everything changed. Victim. But security blocked her path. I could still hear her shrieking down the hallway. "You're letting criminals walk free. I pay your salaries." Inside the room, The door shut, cutting off her voice, and the supervisor took a seat across from us. "I'm sorry about that scene," she said calmly. "We take accusations seriously, but we also verify them." She slid the mystery passport across the table. This passport was reported stolen last week from a woman named Maria Gonzalez in Florida. She's a U.S. citizen. There's already an identity theft investigation open. Anna's eyes widened. But how did it end up in my purse? The supervisor's expression softened slightly. That's what we're trying to determine. Did either of you leave your bag unattended at any point today? We both shook our heads immediately. We'd been together the entire time. Parking garage, elevator, sidewalk, all the way into the line. Then it clicked. Outside, near the metal detectors, the crowd had been packed tight. People were bumping into each other from every direction. Still, the idea that someone would plant a stolen passport felt unreal. They questioned us for nearly half an hour, copied our documents, and took formal statements. Anna fought back tears as she answered everything carefully and clearly. Finally, the supervisor stood. "You're free to continue your appointment. We'll keep this passport as evidence, but you are not under suspicion." Relief washed over me, until she added, "However, the woman outside is insisting on pressing charges against your wife for theft." My anger exploded. "On what grounds? You just proved the passport isn't even hers." The supervisor shrugged slightly. "She's within her rights to file a report. We can't stop her." As we returned to the waiting area, I braced myself. Karen was still there, phone pressed to her ear, voice echoing through the room. "Yes, officer. I need to report crime." She had my passport. Well, a stolen one, but she's obviously involved. The moment she saw us, she stormed forward, finger jabbing the air. "This isn't over. I know what you did." Security stepped in again, escorting her away as she screamed, "I'll have your green card revoked. You'll be deported by next week." Anna collapsed into my arms right there in the hallway. I'd never felt so powerless. Our appointment was delayed another hour while staff processed the incident. People kept staring, some with sympathy, others with suspicion. All I could think was how far this woman was willing to go. What I didn't know yet was that she'd already gone much further than any of us realized. We finally completed the biometrics. Fingerprints inked, photos snapped, while employees whispered about what had happened. Anna barely spoke on the drive home, staring out the window and repeating softly, "Why me? What did I do to her?" I had no answer. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something about Karen's behavior felt too polished, too deliberate. So I did what any desperate husband would do. I started digging. Early the next morning, I filled out a security footage request through the USS website, but I knew that could take weeks. Then I remembered all the phones filming. I posted anonymously in local Reddit and Facebook groups. "Anyone have video from the downtown USIS waiting room yesterday morning? Woman falsely accused my wife of theft." Within hours, 3 people sent clips. I watched them frame by frame. That's when I saw it, in a wide shot from behind us. As we moved through the metal detector crowd, Karen wasn't in front of us like I'd assumed. She was behind us, and for a split second, clear as day, her hand slipped into Anna's open purse as she pretended to stumble forward. She planted something inside. The passport. My blood turned ice cold. This wasn't random racism. This was premeditated. I zoomed in, saved the timestamp clip, and immediately called the supervisor from the day before, leaving a voicemail with the footage attached. Then I contacted the local police non-emergency line to report planted evidence and a false accusation. They told me an officer would follow up. 2 days later, there was a knock at our door. I opened it expecting a police officer. Instead, Karen stood there, no sunglasses, makeup smeared, clutching a manila envelope. My instinct was to slam the door, but she spoke fast. "Please, just 5 minutes. I need to explain." Anna was at work. I stepped onto the porch, phone recording in my pocket. "You have 30 seconds before I call the police." She broke down, real tears this time. "I lost my passport weeks ago, at the airport after a cruise. I didn't realize until I needed it for a trip I'd already bragged about to everyone. She sniffed. My husband's running for local office. If people found out I lost it, it would destroy him. The pieces clicked together. So you framed my wife? She nodded, sobbing. I heard her accent, saw the immigration folder. I panicked. I bought a stolen passport online and planted it. I thought I could play the victim. I stared at her in disbelief. You terrorized my wife and threatened deportation for attention. Before she could answer, a police cruiser pulled up. The officer took her statement right there, and she confessed everything, handing over proof of the purchase and messages bragging about her plan. She was arrested on the spot. Charges are pending. Her husband dropped out of the race. Anna received an apology letter and expedited approval, and a month later, she became a U.S. citizen. Sometimes justice is slow, but sometimes it knocks on your door.